All right, little button says we are live. The time is 7:13, so I'd like to call this the August 2018 meeting of the Westmarch Board of Directors to order. Let's start off with a roll call. Starting alphabetically, I believe we are starting with David today.
David Zucker, outgoing Prime Minister of Westmarch.
Shed's here.
Yeah. Elisa, liaison officer.
I am Ian. I am the president of the board of directors.
I am Jody Begley, the BoD vice president.
Marcus Bergman, current king of Westmarch.
Did he skip Kim?
Did I?
No, she's not here. Sorry.
Kim's
Robert
not
Mott?
here. It's Marcus and then Robert.
Yep, I figured that out. No one went over the order, and yeah, Robert Mott, treasurer of the BoD.
All right. And as mentioned, Kim and Brian, the secretary and the alternate, respectively, are not present currently. We are expecting Brian at some point, so he will be added to the Hangout when he is ready to join. All right, so having gotten the roll call out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the reading of last meeting's minutes. As long as my voice is coming through clearly enough, I'll go ahead and read the minutes. July meeting was on the 10th at 7 p.m. We had a roll call, our call to order and roll call. Those present were Ian, Kim, Marcus, Robert, Lisa, Brian. Not in attendance were Jody and David. We read the June meeting's minutes. We had corrections come up about the Golden City statement. Marcus specified that the concern about people joining the Golden City land of Dagobah in order to avoid CK bans was speculative, not actually facts. So it was asked that the minutes be adjusted to match that. A motion was made and accepted to accept the minutes with the corrections applied. That passed unanimously. We did old business. We had a Feast of Mars update. Autocrat Matt Drenth reported that what the CRAT teams made, games are being discussed, trainers are chosen, menu is made, site is locked in, things are on schedule. Insurance has been approved, as has the site application with no further concerns. A motion was made to table this indefinitely. It was seconded and votes passed unanimously. We had a quick Westmarch Warders update. The liaison officer was to contact the Autocrat ETA for an update. This was not reported to the liaison officer, so she was not able to do that before the meeting. During the meeting, she was able to reach out and contact ETA. Marcus mentioned concerns with the recent loss of Fisocrats and asked if there's news about who's hosting the meals and menus. Robert reported that there are a few groups hosting meals, but lack kitchen facilities, as the others wary. Stove was offered, but it's not been accepted. Ian asked if there's anything the BoD can do to help, and it was determined that it was not a BoD specific issue. Last we've heard the event did not have insurance. Lisa will include an update on what she talks with the Autocrat report on this. If we need to vote on something before the August meeting, we'll hold an emergency meeting. With no further discussion at that time, the motion was made to table until August. Have an emergency meeting should one be necessary. The second and vote passed unanimously. At this point, it was noted that Elisa Mott, she received contact from ETA during this meeting about the insurance for Westmarch Morris. He does not have it yet, but intends to obtain insurance for the event. He will notify her once he gets it set up. We now moved on to Amtgard International Westmarch fundraising update. Been waiting for information from the AI representative. Elisa reports she has not heard from him, but will contact him for an update on process information. He's been able to answer some questions. Perhaps the AI hasn't reached the point where they can answer those just yet. Marcus will talk to him at Clan later in July. The motion was made to table this until the August meeting. Counter motion was voiced that we should table until the September meeting since the August one will be addressing land audits and will be busy. The counter motion was seconded and voted upon. The vote passed unanimously. So that is going to be discussed next meeting, not this meeting. Land audit preparations was next. Ian reported on Ashenspire and Wavehaven. Aside from a few light issues, Ashenspire is behind, but should be ready to submit. Did not get in contact with Aura Saltis. We'll do that later in the week. Lost my place. Cam reports Olin Races is still on hiatus due to mundane life. It's unlikely they will start back up, so an audit will not be expected. Cam had difficulty reaching Skyfire Bear and eventually got in touch with their Facebook group monitor. They reported to have 8 to 10 members, but no real interest in anything other than the fighting aspect of Vanguard. It's unlikely we will see an audit from them. Clockwork Spires, the PM correction is Megan. She reports being ready to submit at this time. She does have guidance from Bacchus. Marcus was unable to respond to Saragata despite reaching out twice. However, their org records are up to date, so they should be fine. Talk to Rivergale Faldair. She's missing January and February sign-ins from the previous PM, is behind on the orcs and expects to fail the audit. She will submit the audit paperwork in any case. Marcus is concerned with their attendance and Ledger's entries being light. States that their land is struggling. Jody was able to contact Ager's Hall, but they have already submitted their audit. Other lands who have already submitted are Mistyvale, Bremen's Fortress, and Valley of the Fallen. Marcus urges the BoD use the checklist and go over the audits prior to this meeting. Audits are due August 1st at midnight. Robert reports that TR's PM, Monica, is waiting on ground qualifications results to include. Brian reports she is also waiting on proof of advertising. They expect the audit to be submitted on time. With no further audit discussion, the motion was made and seconded to the table until the August audit meeting. The vote passed unanimously. Yay. New business. Jody wished to discuss the subject of the Prime Minister handoff contract, but that will be addressed in the September meeting. The issue is because it is a contract, whether this BoD must look them over inside them. Should a scan of those be included in the audits? Question mark. They could be emailed and stored electronically. The motion was made and seconded to move discussion onto the September meeting, and the vote passed unanimously. At this point, we did the open floor. I brought up that I was approached by as Monarch of Wavehaven by the Westmarch region about Wavehaven hosting Kingdom Midrain. I found a site and a contract to reserve the site. I requested use of the Westmarch EIN for such. I didn't have a final quote, but expect it to be 166 plus taxes. I reported Westmarch will be handling the site fee while Wavehaven will provide for the feast, with the expectation to be reimbursed by any monies donated at the time of the event to cover the costs. We rented a picnic spot with barbecue grills but no kitchen. Electricity will be an extra fee. Marcus says to contact him if those are needed, and we'll take care of authorizing Westmarch to pay for the electricity. The event had been moved from Aura Saltis to Wavehaven per direction of the Westmarch region due to a conflict of dates and details. A motion was made and seconded that the EIN application and contract be approved. The vote passed 5 ayes, 1 abstain. Alcohol permit will be addressed if necessary since it involves fees and a deposit, and we'll discuss it with the regent and reach out to the BoD should one be needed. At that point, we went and scheduled this meeting. A motion was made and seconded to schedule the meeting for Friday, August 17, 2018 at 7 p.m. The vote passed unanimously. With no further business, a motion was made and seconded to adjourn this meeting. This passed anonymously, of course. And then we were done. Any corrections that need to be made to the minutes?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as read.
I second the motion.
All right, have a motion to accept the minutes as read and accurate. David, go ahead and start the vote, please.
David votes aye.
Elisa votes aye.
Ian will vote aye.
Jody votes aye.
Marcus votes aye.
Robert votes aye.
The ayes have it. All right, so at this time, I'd like us to start discussing old business. The only item I have on the docket for old business was the Westmarch Wars contracts, insurance, yada, yada, yada. So, Elisa, were you able to get in contact with ETA?
I reached out to ETA. I have not heard back from him.
Okay. Well, this might be a quick one then.
Yeah.
Since we have, at this time, nothing to discuss about it, really.
Yeah.
I think what we did last meeting saying that if there's anything that needs to come up that we need to sign, discuss, vote upon, we should have an emergency discussion and vote on the forums, seeing as we're most likely, well, yeah,
Yeah, it'll have,
it's in a
it'll
week.
have to be
So.
done in a week, so.
So I have a question. If
One moment.
Sorry.
Let the record show that at 7:23, Brian, the alternate, shows up.
Sorry.
Yay.
Glad you can make it.
Yes, I am too. Sorry it took me so long.
No worries. All right, go ahead, Jody.
So if we have not heard back from ETA before Westmarch Wars, which is next weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and we have no confirmation of insurance for the event, what happens? Because he signed up, he registered and paid for everything himself, right? So
Right.
that was part of the discussion, that because he did that, then the insurance is not mandatory or needs to still happen, or the event question mark?
Well, whether or not insurance is mandatory depends on whether or not the site thinks it's mandatory.
It's not to protect Westmarch.
Well, it is.
Yeah, yeah, because liability coverage would protect us against damage or injury to other people's stuff.
Yeah.
So it's recommended, definitely, but the question would be, who would be held responsible if a loss occurs? Because would it be ETA, whose name is all over the contracts that was never approved by Westmarch, or is it Westmarch because he potentially used our name without, without running the contracts by us?
So the Corpora just says that the Westmarch Board of Directors is responsible for completing any paperwork, signing contracts, and anything in regards to contractual obligations for event in the events article, which has a few formatting errors. It looks like. Whoops.
I guess my
And
concern
there's
with
no direct consequences addressed in the Corpora pertaining to what'll happen when the autocrat doesn't run anything by the board of directors.
so we just let it go.
Well, yeah, I think
And
if
nothing happens.
if a problem does arise, it'll have to be addressed after it occurs, unfortunately.
Okay. I just wanted to discuss it and if we come to an agreement, or if we have a plan, kind of, because I'm big on what ifs. So.
Well, I mean, as it stands right now, contractually, Westmarch isn't on the line. It's all ETA, I think. He's our representative, but we can always say, all this got put through without the board of directors' purview, without the board of directors signing off on it.
I think we're pretty much covered on that front.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure that Westmarch is covered,
Okay.
because it is an event in or a Westmarch event, or an event in Westmarch, or whatever.
Is using Westmarch name.
Yes.
Okay. ETA just messaged me documents, so apparently we have insurance now. I'm
Nice
gonna have to
get
figure out
that
how to,
in, like, before the meeting.
yeah.
That would have been nice.
Okay. I'll see if I can at least get them attached to the Facebook chat, so that way they can
Be looked at.
be reviewed. Hold
Thank
on.
you.
Bum, 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 bum.
You're posting it in the BoD chat.
turn the air conditioning off so the buzzing and blowing wouldn't be on the audio, but man, I'm dying already now.
Just do like I do and mute your mic while you're not talking.
I don't know if you noticed, but I talk a lot during these things.
Okay, that's fair.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
How are we doing?
Still breathing despite the assassins.
Currently, I have it downloaded on my phone, and I just have to figure out how to attach it. So give me a minute.
Would there be any protest if we double back to this after after Lisa's able to get this uploaded?
I'm fine with that.
I vote we move on until this subject can be reviewed.
David second.
There we go. I was going to say, I can't unmute you, David. You're muted yourself. All right. Well, we're going to put the Westmarch boards on hold then, and we'll come back to it after we get the insurance application documents distributed to the rest of the board.
Thumbs up.
In the meantime, let's go ahead and move to new business with the Feast of Mars 14 insurance application. Drenth forwarded it to me and asked me to distribute it with the rest of the board to have us quickly go over it and make sure we're all copacetic with it before he passes it on to the event site and pays for it, because I believe at least the version he sent me hasn't been paid for yet. So I have that link on the boards. Has everyone had a chance to go over it?
Which boards?
The BoD forums on the meeting thread.
CA AmpGuard forums.
Give me a minute. I didn't know if you said forums or forums. Got it.
Forums. Where we should be posting stuff.
I think that the input from Elisa to do the outdoor meeting really helped a lot. That saves us $100 every time.
It's like 60 something dollars at least, yeah.
And where in the BoD board did you post this?
So if you look under the forums on caamcard.com, BoD August 2018 meeting is the thread, and then there's a second post where I have links to the audits and to this document.
In Google Hangouts chat, I posted a direct link to the application.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Go to the August 2018 meeting, Brian. There's like a
I got
refine
that. Good.
that we see audits and FoM 14 insurance application link.
And don't forget, take a left at Albuquerque.
Look for the jackalopes. Oh, I see one.
Avoid Albuquerque. It's
Did we
hot.
already pay for this policy?
No, he's waiting for BoD approval.
Yeah, this looks like it's basically a bill, and once you pay the bill, then you get the contract.
Correct. And then you have to pay it, get the contract, submit it to the site, and then they have that little tidbit, and they will formally approve the application along with all of the other hoops.
Did anyone notice that the pricing's no longer valid?
I just did. Yeah, it's valid for 7 days, and we've had this for a while.
I don't imagine the price going up that much when he
No.
submits.
So
This is a
what
great
I
ballpark
did,
number.
They seem pretty
what I
level.
did is- so what I did is I applied and it ran out, and I reapplied and got it approved and sent it in, and there was no price difference.
Good.
If you look at the excluded activities, War Games reenactments is specifically excluded. Is that us?
No.
No, that would be the cannons in the Civil War reenactments, which
Ah,
should have been excluded.
We are
I wanted
not
to
a
make sure.
I mean, I think it looks good to me, other than he needs to reapply and make it current with the same numbers.
Any other questions or concerns anyone has?
I vote that we approve it based on a redo with valid dates.
David seconds.
All right, we have a vote to approve.
Brian votes aye.
Yes, Brian would be first to vote, sorry.
David votes aye.
Lisa votes aye.
Vote aye.
Jody votes aye.
Marcus votes aye.
Let's vote to Robert.
He's muted.
Robert votes aye.
There we go. All right, the ayes have it. I will let Trent know that his insurance application has been approved and he can submit that sucker. All right, are we ready to double back to Westmarch Wars, or do you still need more time, Elisa? You're still muted for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work on it. Sorry.
Okay. Well, then next, let's discuss the, oops, I totally forgot to link it, the land contract for Nymyr Sanctum. Can we get a link for that, David, please?
It's in Messenger.
A easier to find link?
If you're on a regular page on the right-hand side, or you go to the info button on your phone.
I'm not on the regular page.
So I can pull it up in a minute.
This is the one we've all signed, or is this a new one?
It's the one we all signed.
Which we signed before the change by the whole thing change.
Correct.
Okay. Does it matter that we are in the wrong places on that form?
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to discuss.
Okay. Also, I think I have my document links transferred over.
Okay, 1 second.
And I posted a link to the contract in the Hangouts chat.
Copy that. I am quickly putting them in a shareable location for meeting. Oh. I thought we had everything prepared.
I even gave you guys extra time to be prepared. Come on, what's going on here?
Where'd my download folder go? There it is. So that one, and that one. Here's the certificate of insurance. Policy.
What company did he go through?
Does it not say?
Well, they're not licensed in California.
That might be a problem.
Need
And
for a notary?
Nymyr Sanctum. All right. Well, we are still on the Nymyr Sanctum, so let's quickly discuss that one, and then we can double back to Westmarch Wars. Okay, so there's a couple concerns that have been brought forward about the contract as signed. First one being that we had started signing it before it was completely signed by the contracted land. That's the first mistake. Second mistake, I think, was that there are signatures in the wrong spots. We have Zeus's signature in the Westmarch Monarch spot, and there's some problems with the alignment as well. I'm not going to lie, kind of an eyesore.
I'm only concerned about the fact that people are misidentified or improperly identified on the contract.
Because we have persona names. We have one persona name and a bunch of mundane names. Also, we just updated the contract. So the question I want to put forward to the BoD is, should we do a redo on this contract?
I think it makes sense doing it with the updated contract. And probably a better version, like accurate.
Yeah.
What date was the all thing? What date was the all thing?
What all thing?
The all thing where we changed the bottom section of the contract. What was the date of that all thing?
Oops, wrong folder.
It's like the second weekend of July, correct?
One second. I haven't put it live yet, but the date I have on the amended corpora is July 17th.
Where's the image for the Nymyr Sanctum contract? Where is that?
There is a link either in the BoD forums or in the chat for this Hangout.
Thank you.
So we approved this the same day the amendment was final.
Looks like it.
Can we put in the Nymyr Sanctum name, start using the Nymyr Sanctum name today, and just have us redo the contract properly?
I see no problem with that, seeing as everyone's, signed off on it, basically.
And allow them to start using the name immediately.
I mean, technically, we have a signed contract. There should be no reason why they can't do that.
I would just like it to be the proper contract sooner rather than years down the line.
Right. I don't think anyone's going to argue that point.
So I move to vote on requesting Nymyr Sanctum to replace the contract with the newer version with all of our signatures in the correct place.
Would anyone like to second that motion?
I will second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to redo the Nymyr Sanctum contract with the updated proper contract and with all the names in the correct spots. Brian, start the vote, please.
Brian votes aye.
David abstains.
Elisa votes aye.
Ian will vote aye.
Jody votes aye.
Marcus votes aye.
Robert votes aye.
All right, I have 6 ayes and 1 abstain, so the ayes have it. We will contact Nymyr Sanctum and ask them to refill out the contract. And I guess Zeus does not want to take over doing this since he's stepping down tomorrow.
You got it.
Okay, then I will work with Fenra and we will get that set up.
That'll be a great first project for her.
Yay. Okay, so at this time, how about we double back to that old Westmarch Wars?
I think it's tripling back at this point.
Well, maybe people didn't speak about it out of turn.
So I believe it was Colin brought up that he doesn't think that the insurance company is covered in California. However, I looked it up. And in the California Department of Insurance, it is listed that they have been authorized to work in California since 2004.
Which company?
The insurers affording coverage, which is Evanston Insurance Company.
Yeah, if they're a surplus lines company, then they don't necessarily have to necessarily be filed within the state in order to do business within the state.
Good to know.
So I was reading their contract under California, and they have 3 very concerning lines. The insurance policy that you are applying to purchase is being issued by an insurer that is not licensed by the state of California. These companies are called non-admitted or surplus line insurers. The insurer is not subject to the financial solvency regulation and enforcement that applies to California licensed insurers, and the insurer DOEE not participate in any of the insurance guarantee funds created by California law. Therefore, these funds will not pay your claim or protect your assets if the insurer becomes insolvent and is unable to make payments as promised. That is concerning.
Yeah, well, and that's pretty normal for a surplus lines company. Basically, the Department of Insurance has specific funds set up that if for whatever reason the company becomes insolvent, then they will take over the payments of the claim, or at least portion of them. Yeah,
but not surplus line companies.
No. Well, no. The surplus lines company should be able to pay their own claims. They just can't tap into the state for additional resources.
So my question to you then is this insurance for Westmarch Wars valid? Is it enough? Will it cover us?
Well, there's a couple of things that concern me on the documents that I'm looking at. First of all, there's not necessarily a named insured that I saw. Second, I'm not seeing any charges assessed, so there's no actual policy fee. And third, I'm not seeing, it's showing an annual policy starting in February.
Am I looking at the same document? Because I see a policy effective date and a policy expiration date of August 23rd and August 26th. And then on page 2, I'm seeing name of additional insured persons, starting with Paul, continuing with the Shire of Agers Hall, Kingdom of Westmarch, Amcard International, 7645 CA 160, Rio Vista. I guess that's an address.
I think you're looking at the certificate of insurance, not the insurance policy.
The certificate of
Additional-
insurance has Paul Wilkins' name and address on it.
Right.
Right, that's the certificate. Okay, so that's the liability certificate of liability insurance. That's what I'm looking at.
Right.
Right.
And that has his insured is 1981 Paul Wilkins.
Yeah, and then down below, page 2,
Hmm.
additional insured designated person or organizations. This endorsement modifies insurance provided under the following commercial general liability coverage part. And then the schedule of name of additional insured persons or organizations has the list that you wanted to see there.
That is not, well, that's
Where did
not
he get the Rio Vista, Amtgard International, Rio Vista, California? Where did he get that?
Rio
I think that's
Vista.
the address.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's the address of the event.
So they're insuring the site, but not the owner of the site?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. Because when I got the insurance for Dark Shore, that was my address. That wasn't the address of the site. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
There was
Yeah,
there was another term. It was like a secondary something that was the County of Monterey Parks Department.
Right.
And then I was the certificate holder.
Right. Yeah. So whenever you did the insurance for Feast of Mars, Westmarch was the named insured with you as the as a signer or
Right.
you're the representative.
Right.
And the site, the event site, was listed as additional insured, which basically means if there was a loss at the site,
right,
then basically the Westmarch's policy would be in effect.
Right. So additional insured here needs to be the site.
Right. Because right now what he has, if he's listed himself as named insured on the certificate of insurance and Westmarch and the AIBOD and whatever on the second page as additional insured, that means if there's a loss, then we as Westmarch would go after him and expect him to pay. But whenever I'm looking at the actual policy, it's going, okay, so named insured is promotion event. I don't think he gave us the right thing because I think that because it's showing like eventhelper.com Inc. is a named insured on this commercial policy that's effective from 2/1/18 to 2/1/19 and doesn't list Westmarch anywhere on the actual policy as any type of responsible party.
Event helper?
Yeah, that's what's listed. Okay, so if you go to the actual policy document, which is the other link on there, and on page 28 is the start of their declaration pages, which gives the policy effective date, named insured, the type of policy it is, which is commercial general liability, and effect, and all of that. It doesn't give the right information. So I'm going to have to get with ETAW and let him know that this policy does not provide the protection that he potentially thinks it does.
So again comes my question. What happens if we don't get this resolved before the event?
With the paperwork that's in front of us right now, ETAW would be the person that's held responsible for any loss. And if he tries to come back on us, then that certificate of insurance indicates that Westmarch is then going to just turn around and turn the responsibility right back to ETOP.
I'm kind of okay with that.
I would like to make a suggestion that maybe we ask him to go through the event helper insurance, because that's worked really well that worked well for me based on Ian's suggestions from what he used for past events. And it looks pretty clear and straightforward for the upcoming FoM.
Right. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is after the meeting, I'm not going to try to do this while we're doing the audit meeting, but after the meeting, I will message him back and let him know that the paperwork that was submitted won't do what he thinks it's going to do. And then we'll take it from there. And then I'll post on the forums any corrected documents that he may give me.
Can I point out page 136 of this document?
Okay, let me get down there real quick.
The policy or the certificate of insurance?
Policy.
Policy, because the other one's only 2 pages.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I've got the
marijuana.
Yeah, that would be the one.
Okay.
Is that just because it's Agers Hall?
No comment at this time.
Well, it's a concern that we really need to discuss, because
especially with FoM, the way they wanted
It's
to
not-
do it. Open the
It's not
FoM.
just Agers Hall, it's the way things are
well-
nowadays. And there was,
Yeah.
was something that we had to address directly with the people at the King City site was,
Right.
and we brought it up to them. Well, what about this? And it was almost kind of right now zero tolerance. It's just something that I think we should be aware of and be proactive on.
Yeah, I think with the legalization, there might be some confusion on there. We need to go ahead and make it clear that it's going to have to be something that is prohibited at any event.
At this time.
At least at this time.
Do we need to work that into any contracts that we have for people who are doing events? Or?
No, we have to work that into our Capora.
Okay.
And seeing as we cross state lines, we have to know what Nevada's laws are, California's laws, and Hawaii's laws, as long as we still have that shire out there that claims to be part of us, sort of.
That was fun.
So let's do this. I think that the THC and marijuana is a different discussion. Can we, since we still have the audits to do, can we just kind of focus on getting insurance for Westmarch Wars?
I move we table the discussion of marijuana. Actually, let's just take that out of the BoD hands. I motion that the discussion of marijuana being an amendment be pushed off onto monarchy.
That's not even a BoD discussion anyway.
You're right, because I'm saying it's Capora. So it's not us, it's me, sort of.
So
And if I
make
get
the
around to it before I leave office.
So we are still discussing the insurance documents that have been provided to us by ETA. Does anyone have concerns about these being sufficient to cover us in the event of a loss during Westmarch Wars?
Very much so, but what I think we should do is put that on Elisa's hands as an insurance professional and the liaison, and get it, I will continually prompt her to get with him and get it done this next week before the event. So I make the motion that we move the discussion on this to the forums.
So we have an emergency meeting sometime this week.
Well, we'd only need We would only need to meet and discuss in the event that we get different documents or anything like that. Because otherwise, there's nothing we can really do from here.
And it's frustrating because he's crowded events several times. He knows the way it should be, or he should. Anyway, my motion still stands because we've got audits.
All right, could you restate
I'll
the motion?
second it. Oh, sorry.
I make the motion that we table this for right now and put it in the hands of the liaison/insurance expert and continue any necessary discussion on the forums.
Okay, and then Colin, you want to second that?
Yes, I do.
All right, so let's go ahead and have a vote. Brian, start us off, please.
Brian votes aye.
David, your vote. David? All right, gonna skip David. Elisa, please.
Lisa votes aye.
Ian will vote aye.
Jody votes aye.
Marcus votes aye.
Robert votes aye.
All right, so with 6 ayes and 1 absent vote, the ayes have it. David, if you can hear us, can you? He says he's having a technology hiccup. Okay. So we will continue to skip him until he's able to return to being able to actually participate. All right. So let's now finish off our new business because that was the last of the old business. New business was the Prime Minister handoff. We had some informal conversations on the chat about the Prime Minister handoff. There was a concern that a letter stating the official change of signers on the account might be necessary for the bank to switch over. However, after some investigation, it was shown that to a statement to me by one of the bank representatives that a letter from the board of directors is not necessary, and that as long as we have both the outgoing and incoming prime ministers at a location or 2 different locations at the same time, they can sync up and handle that. Where is that beeping coming from? So I don't think the board of directors. All right, looks like it's coming from Zeus. 1 second. There we go. So at this time, I don't think the board of directors needs to do anything about the prime minister handoff yet. But since I already had that on an agenda and didn't feel like removing it, does anyone have any questions or concern about the prime minister handoff?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. My computer was stupid for the past 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I got audio back to hear you talking about the Prime Minister handoff.
Correct.
And that's literally all I heard.
Okay. So I had this on the agenda because I had thought for a second we needed to have a letter approved by the BoD to send to the bank, but after further investigation, that turned out to not be a thing, and I didn't get it removed from the agenda. So at this point, I'm just asking the board as a whole if they have any questions or concerns about the Prime Minister handoff. At this,
I have one concern.
Okay, what do you got?
I have a payment that has to go out via PayPal tomorrow. David, will you be doing that, or will she be doing that?
Well, I can do it. I gave her the passwords to all the accounts in a 6-page document just detailing everything about Prime Minister. So I don't know if FEMRA is quite up on that. So it might be easier if I just do it.
Okay.
I'm also working tomorrow, so depending on when you bug me about a payment, I might not get it for many hours.
All right.
Also, I need to know when I'm going to meet up with who for the audit of the monies.
At this point, it's going to sound like you're going to be meeting up with Fenra since she'll be taking over starting tomorrow. But I think that depends on when Azus is able to get the paperwork to her, the boxes and such.
Is the cash box already been handed off, or is the cash box still in your possession, David?
I have the cash box and the papers. She has the passwords to the Google account and PayPal. So she has access to the digital ledger and sending money.
Are you able to deposit every penny from the cash box? That way the handoff is all done through the bank and there isn't actual cash changing hands?
Yeah, I don't know when I'll get to the bank to do that.
Never mind.
I mean, I might get it tomorrow, but no guarantees.
Can you make it a priority?
Depending on what work looks like. I mean,
Understood.
I might do it during my lunch break and spend my entire lunch depositing money instead of like getting a break.
Yeah, that's gross. When's the soonest you think you could get that done?
Well, how much is in the box? I mean, if it's like less than $100, I'm not worried about it.
$6.67 as of the count today.
Could you repeat that again, please? Could you repeat that again, please? Colin had talked over you.
$66.67.
Okay.
Okay, not worried about it.
That's not worth a lunch break.
No.
Nope.
So if I could get you to take a picture and send me a picture of the $66.67, I'll sign off on the cash box part of it.
I'd prefer for you to be there in person to do the audit, sir.
Okay. Well, I'd suggested she and I meeting up with Azus in Wyvernspur. That way it was half the distance for both of us, but she's apparently got awful busy for the next few months. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to go ahead and be a meaty and insist you guys prioritize getting this done real soon. And do try and get your schedules to work out for that, okay?
Can I step in for Yurik or on that sign off on it, or does it have to be the treasurer?
I would like the treasurer too, please.
Okay.
Between our various schedules, that's going to be difficult.
That's why I want you to make it a priority. You only need to do it once. I understand schedules are busy. Mine's been awful as well. So, we volunteered for this. We need to make a couple sacrifices every now and then, you know? I would say, you know, we can get this done before the next meeting would be ideal. You don't have to get it done immediately, but we should get it done, all right?
Yep, most definitely.
Okay. Anyone have anything else about the upcoming Prime Minister handoff?
Nope. I make the motion we table Prime Minister handoff to next meeting.
Second.
Brian, go ahead and start the vote, please.
Brian votes aye.
David votes aye.
Elisa votes aye.
Ian will vote aye.
Jody's muted.
Oh, so sorry. Jody votes aye.
Thank you.
Marcus votes aye.
Robert votes aye.
All right, the ayes have it. We will double back to this on September. All right, the time is currently 8:08. We are ready to start the land audit process. Does the board wish to have a quick recess before we start the land audits?
Yes, please. I haven't had dinner yet. I'd like to grab a quick snack.
All right, let's go ahead and have a quick 5-minute recess. We will reconvene and start the auditing process at 8:13.
Thank you.
Yay.
Okay, 8:13. Has everyone returned? Guessing that's a no. Give everyone a couple more minutes.
Yeah, we're here whenever you're ready.
Thank you. So that's 3 of us. Mwahaha. See, Marcus is back. A nice frosty mug.
Full of ice, man. It's the skull of my enemies.
Enemies must have been airheads.
And they're very transparent in their maneuvers.
You could see right through them.
Totally.
All right, well, looks like we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, so that's enough to get going.
Can we do it like the IK? We vote first, and then if we don't agree, we discuss.
The Amp Guard Circle of Monarchs, you mean?
Yeah, they vote first. Then if there's a disagreement on it, we discuss why. And then we move on.
We could do that. Anyone present object to that point of order?
Nope, I like that idea.
My only thing on it is if we're supposed to be giving reasons for our grade, is that part of the vote too? Or do we do that afterwards?
Afterwards.
Okay.
All right, judging by cameras, we're only missing Brian at this point.
I think he just slumped down and is just out of camera range. We'll just grab her. No? All right.
No. I didn't vote for her. Give them a few more moments. Brian, come back to us. Come back. Come back. To audits, we will take you.
Didn't he say something about vampires? It is getting dark outside.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say we search forward and he can catch up to us as we go. So, shall we do this alphabetically?
Sounds good.
All right, land audits. What ho? So, alphabetically, we're gonna start with Azures Hall. Let's go ahead and I just got a message. What was the message? Food in the microwave, be back soon. Okay, yeah, we're starting. Catch us up later. Okay. So we're just gonna put Brian down as an absent vote for now, and then we will go ahead and search forward. So in that case, David, start the vote for Azures Hall, please.
Unfortunately, a fail.
Elisa votes fail.
Ian will vote fail.
Jody votes fail.
Marcus votes fail.
Robert votes fail. And the question I've got, do we have the last audit results also?
Their previous rating was a pass.
Okay.
So I reached out to the Prime Minister of the land, and I asked him a few times, at least twice, if he needed help, if he needed guidance, and it was pretty much, no, I got this. And then the next time I asked, it's already been submitted, and I asked him where it had been submitted to, and he wasn't sure, and I wasn't ever able to find it. So that was the one land that I was assigned to contact and help with the audit. And that was what I got.
All right, so on my notes, I noted that there was, for the requirements, there was no attendance numbers for April, May, and most of June, no sign-in scans, and the recruitment example kind of sounded a little squiffy because it was only a description in the letter. So that is why I ended up voting fail. Does everyone concur with those results as to why this should be a failed audit? Talking about Azures Hall, by the way, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable, going off of what Jody said.
In my notes, I added that very disappointed for a core land to present like this.
Okay. So let the record show then that for Aegis Hall, they receive a fail rating due to no attendance numbers for April, May, and most of June, no sign-in scans, and a incomplete recruitment example. So unless there's anything else we want to discuss for Aegis Hall, I'm going to suggest we move on.
Move on.
All right, so we have next Ashenspire. Since we hadn't finalized the name change, they're still in here as Ashenspire, since they're also Ashenspire through the audit period. So Ashenspire, we're going to go ahead and vote first, Brian, because we had a point of order before you came back, where we vote first and then discuss the results so that we can try and speed it up. So if you could go ahead and give us your vote for the Shire of Ashenspire.
God. Sorry, I'm unprepared. Can I abstain?
Yes, you absolutely may.
Abstain.
Hey, David.
David votes excellent.
Elisa votes excellent.
Ian votes excellent.
Jody votes excellent.
Marcus votes excellent.
Robert votes excellent.
All right. We have 6 excellents and 1 abstain. Any comments people would like to quickly make about the Ashenspire audit?
I think I found one attendance page that had the date, an error on the date, but outside of that, everything was fine.
My only notes were no call results, but that's optional for a Shire. So. All right. Well, in that case, go ahead and mark that as an excellent. Unless anyone else has anything they'd like to say.
Huzzah.
Let's look at Arisaltis. Let's start the vote. Brian, if you could please.
Brian votes excellent.
David votes fail for the Salties.
Elisa votes fail.
Ian vote fail.
Jody votes fail.
Marcus votes fail.
Am I missing something then?
Yeah.
No, but they were.
Fail.
Maybe you're a line off.
Oh, I'm not in Area Saltis. I'm in Ashenspire. That would be why.
There you go.
Poor Brian.
Would you like to change your vote?
Yeah, I vote fail.
All right, so the fails have it. By my notes, I had that they did not meet weekly. They're missing a sign-in sheet that I noticed of the ones that they reported. They had no election results and they had no crown calls results. Does that match up with what everyone else noticed as well?
And they had no advertising, is that right?
No, they had awesome advertising.
Oh, they did? Okay.
There's advertising in there.
They did events.
And muted. I also had that they didn't have their officers. And the question I've got, what did we ever decide if they just decide just not to hold quals when they're a core land and a barony?
No, they have to have
big
quals.
deal?
No, they have to have calls.
Yeah. So that too, because everyone pro-tempt.
They're in violation of their.
I see it as a Kapora violation, but I see everything as Kapora violations. I'd also like to state that if they use that font again, we should take their prime minister, whoever did it, and string them up, because god damn, that's hard to read, especially when it's a GIF.
Hmm.
Could you strike that from the record?
Don't say it. We're recorded and broadcasted live, man.
Sorry, I don't mean actually string them up, but
You're screwed.
that was very hard to read.
Was that a vote? Should that be seconded?
No, do not
No.
do that upon pain of death. Let me see. What officers did they have?
You need to be taken on a COC.
They have Monarch, Regent, Champion, Prime Minister, and GMR, according to the audit, right?
Yes.
All right. So it seems they have more than enough for a barony as far as officers are required. Actually, don't need my clipboard. I should stop waving that thing around. Okay, so so we have did not meet weekly, missing a sign-in sheet, no election results, no crown call results. What else was what else led to a fail audit? That it?
Oh,
That's it.
their ledger didn't have an opening balance, but
Yes. A minor annoyance at worst. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that down then, and let us move on to Belial Peaks. BP, there we are. Brian, if you could go ahead and start the vote for us, please.
I'm gonna vote pass. So it looks like they have everything except for their crown quals.
That is optional for a Shire.
Good to know. First time being BoD, sorry.
Yes.
I'm gonna vote excellent. One note about quals, even if it's not required. Belias did qual at Wyvern Spur during our joint quals, and then Wyvern Spur sort of lost the all the stuff. On a practical side, the only person that I remember qualling was Belias and Jimmy Whitehammer. So it's not a lot that got lost.
Okay.
Okay. Elisa votes excellent.
Ian will vote excellent.
Jody votes excellent. My note is they met extra days in addition to traveling to make sure they met attendance for their park.
Okay, let's do the notes after we vote, guys, please.
Okay, never mind.
Marcus, your vote.
oh, pass.
Robert?
Robert votes excellent.
All right, so I have 5 excellents and 2 passes. So the excellents have it. So my note was that the only thing they were missing was quals, but again, that was optional for a Shire. Okay.
Do you want my notes on why pass and not excellent?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell us, and then we can decide whether or not want to revote. But
They had a sample flyer.
okay,
No explanation of how it was used, nothing else. They just had a flyer.
okay,
I thought we determined in the past that that is not sufficient to have a flyer. One group had their flyer, but they took a picture of it up on a wall. Was that them? Did I get that wrong? One actually had a picture of their flyer up on a bulletin board. But that might have been Bremen's Fortress, because both of them I have the same note on.
Article 9, sponsored chapters, Section 2, audits. Item 2, sub-item A, sub-item 2, II. Examples of recruitment, including but not limited to samples of advertising media, photos of activities, or a written description of how new players are brought to the park. The question you're asking is whether or not a example of a flyer is sufficient for that requirement?
Yes.
It's
So
a sample
did
of advertising, which a flyer is a sample of advertising.
It's a sample of advertising materials. It
Yes.
doesn't show them using it. So
Okay.
Yeah, but
if they
So
had
the
said
flyer
we
doesn't
placed
say
it in a library, if
using
it said we placed it somewhere, but it didn't say anything in the letter, they didn't add a note saying we placed this in X location. There was nothing, just a flyer. And
We revised the corpora to include flyers and make it a little bit less of a, you have to have a verb, noun is adequate.
Yes, we changed this part of the corpora end of last year, specifically to make it so that March wasn't dictating what the lands were doing. And to
There
make
is
it
so
a lot
much
easier-
for them to do. We're just dictating that they do something.
That's
Right,
the
so
thing. It's reworded so it's no longer saying you're doing something. It's just an advertising of what you've got with the assumption it's actually being used properly.
Yeah, we don't require that they show us how they're doing it. It's just that they have something that they are using to recruit.
Okay. Well, they get their excellent, so
Okay.
no harm. But my vote stands.
Okay. Anyone else wish to, or is there anyone who wishes to revise their vote after the discussion? Or do we want to have more discussion? Silence means no, so let's go ahead and move.
Oh, wait. No. I
Sorry,
did
what?
notice one thing.
Okay.
What happened to their last? Oh, no. They can. Never mind. They can miss a week.
Okay.
Shire. Never mind.
Shire. All right.
But
So,
they also met extra days to make sure they made their attendance requirements.
okay.
Okay, moving on.
Let's move on. So next up would be, this was BP, right? That we were just talking about.
Yep.
Yes.
S-E-E. P-E. Okay. So Bremen's Fortress is our next subject of discussion. But first, a vote. Brian, please.
Brian votes excellent.
David votes excellent.
Elisa votes excellent.
Eno vote excellent.
Jody votes pass.
Marcus votes pass.
Robert votes excellent.
All right, I am counting again 5 excellents and 2 passes. The excellents will carry. We wish to discuss why we voted pass.
Give me a minute. Let me find it.
I had a question about their financial records. Their ledger looked pretty hinky to me.
Yeah, it's a little off. Let's see, my note on that was the paper ledger needs improvement for legibility.
And mine said it was chaotic.
Chaotic's a good word. So was it parkwallet.pdf? Yeah.
My comment was the Crown Qual's results had no ANS.
Not required for a Shire.
Oh, okay. I'll change my vote then.
So Jody, you're changing your vote to an excellent?
Yes, please.
Okay. Any other discussion or vote moving for anyone else? All right, let's move on then. It's that.
So they got an excellent?
Yeah, the excellence carry. P, D, E, E, P, E. Okay. Next up, we have Clockwork Spires, who did not submit an audit. So per the Corpora, they automatically get a fail.
Aren't they
No
a new
comment needed.
land?
No, they were within Westmarch during this entire audit period.
Oh. Okay.
Any items of discussion for Clockwork Spires, or shall we move on?
Moving on.
All right. All right, so next up on our list is Crimsonwood. Let us have a quick vote on Crimsonwood. Brian.
Brian votes excellent.
David votes excellent.
Elisa votes excellent.
Ian votes excellent.
Jody votes excellent.
Marcus votes pass.
Robert votes excellent.
All right, so we have 6 excellents and 1 pass, so the excellents carry. Do we wish to discuss our votes?
I'm curious why the pass. Colin, what do you see that I'm not seeing here that doesn't qualify for an excellent?
All right. So my notes have, and I'll have to go look again to make sure. They apparently had a PayPal account going on, but there was no ledger, no images from that PayPal account. But if there was a PayPal account, that was missing. But I think they were actually using a private member to send the money. So that's a different thing on how they track that money. The date on the Flurb sign-in was off by a month. They too had a sample of a flyer, but no direction of use. So I saw several things, not enough to fail them, but too many things for me to approve an excellent.
Okay.
It was all small crap, but it was just too much of it.
Okay.
I'll be right back. My doorbell just rang, okay?
That's a little late for a doorbell. Okay.
Pizza's here.
Where'd you see the PayPal thing, just out of curiosity?
That's how they paid the tithe, was through PayPal.
Oh, okay.
This time, Jason paid through his personal PayPal account.
So they didn't mention him as the go-between. They just said that they sent the tithe through PayPal, but they didn't mention that they gave cash to Jason to do it. So I find that a little disconcerting. There was something on the attendance. They used the flyer for coronation, which was the invite internal. It's not really a external thing as they're advertising. I didn't see a second advertising. Did someone else see or read an explanation?
They have scans of business cards or photos of business cards.
Okay, so again, they have scans of business cards. Are they still at Eagle Park? Because I thought they bounced between multiple parks.
It says Eagle Park and Roanoke Park on the card.
Yeah,
Roanoke Park City.
Eagle Park is their regular park, and then they have special events at Ladybug Park.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else have...
If I'm not allowing an excellent for someone who just gives a copy of a flyer, I'm not going to do it for this either. I'm going to be consistent across the board. If I see just an example, yes, that's passed. That's minimally sufficient.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to discuss in regards to the Crimsonwood audit?
Nope.
All right, then let us move on. Next up, we have the Barony of Faldair. So let's start the vote there. Brian?
I'm going to have to say fail.
David votes fail.
Elisa votes fail.
Ian will vote fail. Jody appears to be absent still, so we will go ahead and skip over her.
Marcus
Okay,
votes
no, I'm
fail.
back. What are we on?
Faldair, your vote.
Fail.
Okay. Marcus, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay, yeah, fail.
Okay.
And Robert votes fail.
All right, the fails have it.
I would like to offer them the choice to self-demote prior to a vote. This is the third fail in a row.
To an all-thing vote?
Before it goes to the all-thing vote in September,
Okay.
because it's an automatic,
Right.
I wish to offer them the chance to self-demote and not go on to an all-thing.
All right, that is perfectly your prerogative, Your Majesty. So.
And I would just like to say that at least they turned in what they had. rather than not doing anything.
Yes, that's why I'm offering as opposed to putting it to the vote.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that both Oris Saltis and Felder at least put something in.
Yep.
All right, so as to the reasoning for their rating, my notes, I have no Crown election results, no Crown calls results, no attendance summary, no recruitment examples, and missing the majority of their sign-in sheets. Does everyone concur with that?
Yes, that's
Yep.
exactly what I had.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, that's nice and quick and easy then. So I will go ahead and mark that result. And now let us discuss the tyranny of Misty Vale. Brian, go ahead and start the vote for that, please.
Brian votes excellent.
David votes excellent.
Lisa votes excellent.
Ian will vote excellent.
Jody votes excellent.
Marcus votes excellent.
Robert votes excellent.
All right, the excellent have it. Misty Vale shall receive an excellent rating from the board of directors. Excuse me, I'm trying not to burp on the microphone. For notes, I had none. It was a perfect, great audit.
I have a
Everyone
note.
concur? Oh, what do you got?
I think that the enthusiasm of this park compared to the lethargy of others is notable.
Okay. Anyone else?
We get put up for nudging.
Automatically.
All right, let's go ahead and move on then. As E across the board. Okay. Excuse me. 7 sleeping dragons? Yes? Yes.
Sargata.
Shargata.
SE versus SI. Someone remind me how the alphabet works?
Backwards.
Someone put it into the.
Yeah, someone who's probably been kicked out of office for good reason tomorrow. Doesn't know the alphabet very well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
So 7 sleeping dragons?
works for me.
Okay. Brian,
Whatever.
7 sleeping dragons, please.
Brian votes pass.
David votes excellent.
Lisa votes fail. They automatically fail because they didn't turn it in on time.
What?
You didn't turn it in on time.
Yep, 8-2. It's an automatic fail by Arcapora.
Oh, damn.
Because they didn't turn it in until August 2nd, I thought, for CA Ant Guard.
Can you confirm that, please, David? Oh,
Yeah, taking a look.
okay. Boop, 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 boom.
Yeah, because otherwise I think it would be an excellent.
It's
Right.
in it should be in the CAM Guard forums because you put the dates that people
Oh, I found it. Okay, so yeah, the email with the audit, didn't get sent to the Westmarch account until the 2nd.
sadly.
Quick question. Are we concerned about them missing March 10th? I mean, it's already a fail, but
So we looked back over that multiple times. If you go to the second March 3rd and move over to the right, they wrote in March 10th over there because I looked at that like 3 times and finally found that.
checking.
Yeah, they have 2 sheets marked 3-3, and then whoever was doing the sign-in sheet scribbled the wrong date and wrote in 310.
They did that twice then, because there was somewhere else I noticed that they had done that in the wrong place as well.
Someone's a goof. Okay, so
I see it.
Doubling back, this is a late audit, so per the Kapora, it's an automatic failure. So I'm going to go ahead and halt the vote and strike it.
Which really sucks because otherwise I found it to be excellent.
Yeah.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I want to know if there is an award if an individual has triple digits in all the categories. Demos.
In all the categories?
Yeah, in all the classes.
Classes.
Yeah, there's 6th level in all the classes.
Yeah,
That's their award. 6th level
I
in
think-
all the classes.
I think we
Yeah,
should make that a thing.
Play whatever they want.
I mean, we can create a custom award just for silliness.
He doesn't
We
have
need to
triple
give him
digits.
something to strive for.
Hey, he should be a knight.
Well, wait.
Okay. So automatic failure is going to be the resultant rating. Is there any other comments about SSD before we move on? Okay, so put that down as fail, and let us move on to the Duchy of Shargata. There's Brian. I was looking at the wrong screen. Brian, could you start the vote off, please?
Brian votes fail.
David, your vote, and you're muted.
David votes. Why did I do that? Pass.
Elisa votes pass.
Ian will vote pass.
Jody votes pass.
Am I missing something? Excellent.
Okay.
Robert votes pass.
All right, so I'm counting. Whoops, I just uncounted it. 5 passes, 1 excellent, 1 fail.
Never mind. Change mine to a pass. I just noticed that they do have all their sign-in sheets.
Pass. So 6 passes, 1 excellent. Okay. For
What am I missing, guys? I want to know what I missed. That
So what I had is they are in fact missing the March 10th sign-in.
I said that they didn't meet regularly, which they explained in the letter as a protest due to banning, but it sounds like they're trying to recover.
no. All right. Let me bring up their folder again.
I put down they were missing crown call results, as everyone ran pro tem.
Oh, that's right. That's what I had. Did anyone else not see that March 10th was missing? And how many mulligans are we given this time, if any?
0. I think March 10th was in there, but it was a similar situation as that it wasn't labeled properly.
No pro tem.
No, you're right. That is the one that is the missing one. I had between them and 7 Sleepy Dragons, I had things all cattywampus.
Yeah, because I searched for that for about 30 minutes, you know, went back and forward and went across the pages looking for it written in somewhere and never did see a March 10th sign in.
Did something happen on March 10th that was SSD's or somebody else's thing too?
No, they said they met.
Yeah, they have stuff on that date.
I did
Maybe
not
that
notice
was
that
one of
signature was
their
missing.
southern conglomerate things.
No.
South Area Lands? JK.
Okay.
At least they broke it into 3 parts.
No, I don't see anything.
And I don't even see a double feed indication.
Okay, would we like to have a revote then?
I would like to change my vote, yes.
Okay, let's just have a complete revote then. Brian, if you could start us off from the top, please.
Brian still votes pass.
David still votes pass.
Elisa will vote pass.
Ian will vote fail.
Jody votes pass.
Marcus votes pass.
Okay.
Die.
Sorry, I'm torn because in the past we had always allowed one or two mulligans, and if we're not allowing any, then I have no choice but to vote fail.
What was the second problem?
No crown calls.
Crown calls.
Yeah, I'll change my vote to fail also.
I hate doing that for one sign-in.
Okay, wait a second. They had the fighting results. There is no place to enter Crown Qual's Arts and Sciences if the three people running for office didn't enter anything. So they may have had it, but there's no place in our write-up to put it. They did have War Master.
Well, but War Master is only half of Crown Calls, right?
Right, but the other half, we don't know. We don't have a results page like we do for War Master. There could have been Crown Quals.
No, it's the top half of the page.
Yeah, except those three people, the people who won or got elected as Monarch, Regent, and Champion, none of them put in because they were all running pro tem. Doesn't mean they didn't have it. There's just no place to indicate they did.
No, it says did not enter any items.
Yeah, for that person and for the next person and for the third person. But
Right,
that doesn't mean they didn't run it. Do they have anything written in there that none of our monarchy entered items into ANS? They were issued comparative tests, but no one qualified. After crown election, monarch. Okay, so they don't even say if they had that part of it.
They said
Just that those three people didn't enter anything.
yeah. Okay,
Someone
so
else could have entered something. They ran it.
Stop, please.
Okay.
In the letter, they say Sabilla assigned him the task, or excuse me, let me back up a bit. Pronomark appointed Spud as regent. Spud had very little experience with experience. Sabilla assigned him to the task of host for Qualls, which was a fun event joined by those in attendance. Because of low morale, Spud decided to make Qualls a pizza party, and we held an all thing the week after he was appointed to vote on if we would allocate park funds to it. The votes passed within 3 ayes and 1 abstain. Crown Qualls, none of our monarchy entered items into ANS. They were issued corpora tests, but no one qualified.
So they had quals, they had a pizza party, they took the corpora tests, and just nobody entered anything into ANS. But Spud decided to make quals a pizza party. So they had quals, it just didn't fit the format of Westmarch corpora.
Yeah, because we specify
Cultural increase.
We want the Qual's results.
the results of the most recent crown qualifications, and we specify the crown quals be ran in a certain way.
So host for quals, which was a fun event enjoyed by those in attendance. So they held quals, it was a fun event. So where does it specifically say that the quals has to be run according to the corpora? Or if they say we hosted quals, but we had, yeah.
So we have an entire article on in the corpora about how quals are supposed to be ran.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
So we're saying that they had quals, but it wasn't run according to the corpora, which is equivalent to they did not run quals at all.
They only had 4 people at the park that day by their attendance.
Yeah.
It's an awfully big pizza receipt for just 4 people.
How big was the pizza receipt?
Upwards of 100, I think it was. Let's see here.
No way.
If you look in their ledger,
Joint
Holy
calls. It
yep,
does say
pizza party
joint
crown
calls.
calls 141.
No, that was
They
on
paid
the 28th.
$141 for pizza for 4 people?
That was for joint calls.
I see crown calls pizza party.
Pizza for combined calls, 141.56.
Okay. So we're getting into semantics here.
Yeah.
Are we going to count them off for not holding quals by corpora, or since the results of their quals that no one in a duchy dared to enter is that no one entered? Is that an okay thing? We need to hash that out and then move on.
Another thing. They said they had dues paid times 6. Now, for a duchy, isn't it a $10 dues paid that needs to be paid?
No, it's only if they want to vote and their core.
Got it. Okay.
Or their core. If they want to vote, it's 8. If their core, it's 10.
Okay, then. Thank you very much.
All right. So,
But they paid tithe. Wait, what?
And that's where my question came in.
That's true. They don't have to. They can take it out of their own pocket, or they can make their members up the $2. That's not our call to tell them where to come up with the extra $2. Some lands
it's definitely
charge
not part of
8.
the audit.
Right. Some lands charge additional, other lands don't.
All right. So, as to the issue about whether or not we consider they had quals or not, I'm inclined to say that is up to the individual members to interpret the corpora and to have their vote reflect that. Do we want to have a third revote on Shargata, or do we want to let the results of the most recent vote stand?
What is the results of the most recent vote?
I interpreted Robert's vote as a fail,
Yes.
and as
It ended
such,
up-
I have
yeah.
4 passes and 3 fails.
Elisa had changed hers to fail too, given the crown quals and the missing
That is-
sheet.
That is one
It's
of the fails.
confusing. Let's revote. It's confusing. Let's revote.
Everyone okay with a revote?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, from the top, please.
Brian's going to have to vote fail. There's too many things.
If it still votes pass.
Elisa votes fail.
Ian will vote fail.
Jody votes pass.
Colin votes fail.
Robert votes fail.
All right, so the third revote results are I have 5 fails and 2 passes. So the fails carry. Shargata will receive a fail. 4. No crown calls results. And what was the other item we were concerned about?
Missing a
310.
finance sheet.
310.
March 10th.
Great. So with that finally settled, let me copy the results here. FP, FFP. FP, FF. Okay, so let us move on then to Skyfire Bay, who did not submit an audit, so that is an automatic failure per the corpora. Concurrence. No, okay. All right, so let us continue moving on then. Next up is Sunfire Valley, who are defunct, and I didn't even have on my personal notes. So yeah, consider having an all thing or just a royal decree that they are no longer part of Westmarch, since they haven't been a thing for a few years now, I think, at this point.
I'll post something in the next couple days.
All right, so next up, we have Sylvan Reaches, who did not submit an audit. So for Corpora, that is an automatic fail.
And I think we need to talk to him that there's no such thing as hiatus for a land.
But they don't meet, and this is the result of that.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, we have Thor's Refuge. So let's start the vote on that. Brian, please.
Brian votes excellent.
David votes excellent.
Elisa votes excellent.
Ian will vote excellent.
Jody votes excellent.
Marcus votes excellent with notes.
Robert votes excellent.
All right, so the excellents have it unanimously. For notes, I myself had a couple. I noted that the audit itself needed to be better organized. That would have been nice.
Yes. Big highlighted capital letters.
Yeah, beginning and end balances for the ledger would have been nice as well. I think just the worksheet ledger, not the actual ledger. The actual ledger had more than enough, I think. And then I also noted that a lot of the signage sheets didn't have dates written down, which made it kind of difficult to figure out which day we were looking at on there. But otherwise,
most of those had printed dates in the upper left corner, but it was small. They just didn't copy it down again in the place where it said date.
And some of the corners were missing.
Ah.
Yeah, I think the upper left is when the document was printed. That's not always necessarily the day when the actual meet is. Just from personal experience, sometimes I'd print the sheet the day before, so.
Not Alana.
Any other notes about Thor's Refuge?
I'd like to know who. Go ahead.
They put down that they were at Kingdom Quals when they were at Bay Area Land Quals, but that's still sufficient. It was an internal. They were traveling that day, so it was fine.
Okay.
I want to know who is taking the pictures of Colin.
Lady T.
I was going to say, I would assume Tamara. And there was a bunch. That was overkill, you guys. Like, seriously.
Sorry, that's my fault. I was running a poster contest, and of course, it went out of control.
Hey, money's involved. I'm Jewish. Give me a break.
This is true.
It's going to happen.
I had a feeling, but I hoped against all hope that they would take it as a call to action, but it did not happen that way.
Hey, we slacked off in July, and we've slacked off in August. Someone else could win that $10.
Right,
nope, because everybody kind of lost their passion for it.
Moving on.
Sorry.
But anyways, moving on.
Valley of the Fallen is who I'd like to vote on next. Brian, if you could go ahead and vote for them, please.
I'm saying excellent.
David says excellent.
Elisa says excellent.
Ian will say excellent as well.
I'll say excellent. Oh wait, I'm going to say pass, and I have a reason.
Okay, let's finish the vote.
Marcus votes excellent.
Robert votes excellent.
All right, so I'm counting 6 excellents to 1 pass, so the excellents will carry. And I believe we wanted to discuss why we had a sole pass vote.
So in their audit package, there wasn't a total for their unique monthly average. And the ledger in the audit was very abbreviated compared to the copy of their handwritten. Now, I know that in and of itself wouldn't be a demotion, but I didn't see a unique monthly average in their package.
I thought that would be the notes. In the additional notes, it looks like David put down something.
Let me look.
She may have looked at it before David put in those notes.
Yep, probably.
I saw
David.
the script.
I saw elaborate on your notes. Oh, sorry.
I saw a discrepancy in the opening
average.
Let Marcus talk, for Christ's sake.
Sorry.
I saw a discrepancy in the opening balance, but when I looked at the paper and then I looked back, it seemed fine. that their in balance is correct, but that was the only flaw I saw in there.
Okay. Jody, go ahead.
So I see the notes in the audit package. Notes for June 1, got an average sign-in and uniques. Period average was 8 and 14.2. Is that the average monthly and the unique monthly average that's missing at the bottom?
Yeah, those were the, as you said, average monthly is 8 and average monthly, unique monthly average was 14.2.
Okay, all right. I'll change my vote then.
And just for anyone else who wants to listen to this later, I also got a higher number because they counted every week, including weeks they didn't meet. And as a shire, they're required every other day, so I didn't ding them for dark days.
Bueno. So just to clarify, Jody, you would like to change your vote to an excellent?
Yes.
Okay, I will mark it down as the excellence. The excellence still carry, just unanimously no. Any other things we need to note for Valley of the Fallen?
The reason why their sample of a flyer was sufficient in my book is because it was a sample of a flyer in place on a poster board with other flyers around it. So I saw that it was in use.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have also put that one down as a pass. But they actually showed it in use.
All right. Anyone else?
Nope. Next. Sorry, they hurt me at dialysis today. I'm a little short. I apologize.
Damn vampires. All right, so let us move on, for all ease in the end, to Wavehaven. That is a barony. Brian, your vote, please.
Brian votes yes. Or, sorry. Brian votes excellent.
David, yes, votes that excellent. And votes excellent.
Thank you.
Lisa wanted to vote excellent. She's indisposed.
Okay. Ian will vote excellent.
Jody votes aye, excellent.
Colin votes.
Colin votes Psy.
Psy, pass.
Okay. Robert?
Robert votes excellent, yes.
You guys are killing me, Smalls.
Never gonna live that down.
Yeah, the only note I had for Wavehaven was that the 526 sign-in was made on a spreadsheet on a phone. It wasn't an actual physical sign-in. That was the only hanky thing I noted. Anyone else have notes?
Yeah, you didn't complete. You didn't complete the quals for War Master.
We didn't have all the categories?
You only had 3. You ended early due to work and whatnot.
Yes.
So it's not complete, and you're core barony. So I'm not going to give an excellent, but I will give a pass.
Okay. Anyone else have any notes? Do we have any wishes to change votes after that brief discussion?
Nope.
All right, well, let's move on then. The excellence will carry. There, excellent. Oops. Okay, pass there. Okay. Oh, last but certainly not least is Wyvern Spur. Brian, start the vote on Wyvern Spur. Barony, please.
Brian will vote pass.
Okay.
David votes pass.
Elisa votes excellent.
Ian will vote pass.
I'm going to have to vote abstain because I could not open it, so I haven't had a chance to look at it. I couldn't unzip it.
Okay, abstention.
Pass. Marcus votes pass.
Robert votes excellent, and then after the vote, tell me what I missed, guys.
Okay, so I have a count of 4 passes, 2 excellents, and an abstention. So for my notes, I noted that, well, first the attendance math goes a little wonky in April, May, and June. I had to recalculate those myself to get a better image, but they were still perfectly within limits. I also noted that the big statement should have personal information and account routing information redacted. I also noted that the paper ledger should be done in an actual ledger book. I think it was just done on lined paper, so it's sloppy. And you need to get your officers to pay dues. And there were no crown calls results, which was the big item that actually dropped the rating for me.
I'm not seeing any advertising going on.
We had a demo, and in the letter there was a link to a Facebook page that had pictures, which is not exactly the best way of doing it. Crown calls results, we don't have any results, in part because the people running for office, there was Lee who was busy running the tournament, so obviously he didn't enter. Bayless, we just sort of said, you want to do it? And he said, okay. And that was after elections because no one else ran. So no one called.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm changing mine to pass. I actually did have the no crown quals also. I just couldn't read it because I write horrible. So
Yeah.
I changed mine to pass.
I'll change mine to pass as well.
Sorry.
All right, so on the revote, we have 6 passes and 1 abstention. Everyone good with that?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
All right, and that will conclude the land audit portion then. We have gotten ratings for everyone. I'll quickly run down the line again. For Aegis Hall, we have a fail. For Action Spire, we have excellent. For our Saltus, we have a fail. For Belial's Peaks, we have excellent. For Berman's Fortress, we have excellent. For Crimsonwood, we have excellent. For Clockwork Spiles, we have fail. For Fall Bear, we have fail. For Misty Vale, we have excellent. For Skyfire Bay, we have fail. For Seven Sleeping Dragons, we have fail. For Shargata, we have fail. For Sylvan Reaches, we have fail. For Thor's Refuge, we have excellent. For Valley of the Fallen, we have excellent. For Wavehaven, we have excellent. And for Rivenspur, we have pass. That meshed with everyone's own recollections.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So that shall be the final results. Everyone's satisfied with that, and unless there's any protest, we're going to go ahead and conclude land audits.
We had a lot of fails.
Yes.
That is problematic.
It was down to quite a few unsubmitted or late audits, and a few struggling audits.
So,
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry. I know that it was said that whenever we took each land and went to them, that we still had a lot of fails, but I felt better as a BoD member about trying to help.
Yeah, but we assigned lands for each of the BoD members again this time.
We just weren't there at that meeting.
Were any of the ones assigned non-compliant, completely non-compliant? Did we assign someone to Clockwork Spires?
No, we were expecting an audit from Clockwork Spires.
You'll have to
Skyfire
look back
Bay?
through the notes and see who was assigned.
And what happened with SSD? Do we know?
It showed up late.
They were late. It looked great, but they were late. It was an
Their-
excellent audit that was submitted a day late.
Their long experienced prime minister is leaving, so they've got a new guy in.
Yeah.
I think that switchover hurt them.
Yeah, it was sudden life getting in the way.
We really need to encourage people to have it in by the 15th, not wait till the last second.
Okay.
Set the due date early. That way, even if they're late, they're still on time.
Pretty much. But that's what that flexi 1 week where in the proposal is all about.
All right. Well, unless there's anything vital that we want to discuss, I feel like we should probably move off of land audits and try and conclude the rest of this meeting as quickly as we can, because it's been 2 hours already.
I make the motion that we conclude land audit discussion.
Second.
Brian, vote please.
Brian votes aye.
Thank you.
David votes aye.
Lisa votes aye.
Ian, vote aye.
Jody votes aye.
Marcus votes aye.
Robert votes aye.
All right, so the ayes have it. We are officially done with land audits. Hallelujah.
Can we have a
Open-
debriefing as old business next meeting?
Yes.
There you have it.
Open floor. Does anyone have anything they would like to bring before the board of directors that we were not able to previously schedule?
My pillow. Sorry.
Jody's. Does it seem enticing? Yes.
Seconded.
Second.
Motion passes. Good night.
Seeing as how no one has new business, I make the motion we adjourn the meeting.
Are
Or
we
schedule.
scheduled?
Let's not schedule another one.
Point of order, I'd like to move the meeting to scheduling the September meeting.
Yeah.
So, suggestions for a meeting date in September.
I am busy on the 2nd. Just that whole 2 weeks around the 2nd, I am completely busy.
Okay. The whole 2 weeks, you said?
Basically, the week before the 2nd and the week after the 2nd, I can't guarantee myself.
Okay.
I make a motion that we have it on Thursday, September 13th at 7:00 p.m.
Only if you guys bring me birthday gifts.
I will burn a candle at both ends for you, Colin.
That is my 50th birthday. I will
Oh.
be drunk.
That's a big one.
Different day then?
Do you want to look at the 20th?
Diana has said she'll be unavailable the 5th or the 12th, so probably do it after that.
Could you repeat that again, please?
Genra, your new prime minister, will be unavailable September from the 5th to the 12th.
Okay. 20th, does anyone have any problem with the 20th?
No.
I don't think so.
I'm
Other
good on the
than being
20th.
right
I'll be
before
ancient,
FoM.
but I'll be good.
Robert, what did you say?
Other than it being right before FoM.
That's the week before FoM.
Never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
The week before Rackus. It's the day Rackus starts or something like that.
Okay. Whereas anyone here planning on being at Rackus?
Nope.
No, I
9.
will be busy stressing about FoM, so I will not be at Rackus.
Okay. Nearly hit my keyboard with that. So I'm not hearing any problems with the 20th. So let's move the motion to the 20th. Would someone like to second that?
Seconded.
I second it.
All right, we have a second and a third. So Brian, go ahead and start the vote. We are doing September 20th at 7 p.m.
Brian votes aye.
David abstains, but David isn't sure his computer has audio.
We hear you. You're good.
I'm good.
What?
Elisa votes aye.
Ian votes aye.
Jody votes aye.
There we go.
Marcus votes oy vey.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Or an abstain. Okay.
Robert votes yes.
All right. So I count 6 ayes and 1 abstention. So the ayes will carry. We will schedule next meeting officially for the 20th at 7 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Nope.
Only if you
Motion we
stop
adjourn.
waving the switchboard around.
Where were we at with the ETOP insurance thing?
Was tabled.
Yeah, we were
Lisa's
tabling
going to
it
get with
until-
them and do it.
Okay, and then we were going to have an emergency meeting. I think was
if necessary. Yes.
We're going to
Okay,
have
cool.
a
Thank you.
vote with the forum.
So he,
Okay, cool.
Todd just texted Elisa how should it be worded, so she's going to start working on it after the meeting.
Okay.
So let's
Then let's
adjourn.
close that. Brian, we are voting to adjourn officially.
Brian votes aye.
David votes aye.
Thank you.
Elisa votes aye.
Ian votes aye.
Jody votes aye.
Marcus votes God, yes.
Robert
Count
votes
up.
aye.
All right, the ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your time and effort.
9:21.
And that's a pretty prompt 2-hour audit meeting. Not the shortest we had, but certainly not the longest. So thank you, everyone, and have
Thanks for
yourself
doing your homework, everybody.
a good night.
Considering the audit part was only an hour and 15 minutes, or actually only an hour, I think we did awesome.
I think we did pretty good. And
Audit
we're